Hello, and welcome to the NFPA LiNK YouTube channel. This page is dedicated to answering key questions you have related to electrical and life safety. With easy-to-use digital access to NFPA codes and standards, NFPA LiNK is your window to productivity. Today we've been asked to review electric vehicle power transfer equipment maintenance according to the 2023 NFPA 70B, the standard for electrical equipment maintenance. So from my desktop, I'm going to navigate to NFPA 70B 2023 edition, and I want to go into the origins first to just show you a key piece of information. So this edition of NFPA 70B was approved as an American national standard on January 16, 2023. So NFPA 70B has been around a long time as a recommended practice. However, this is the first edition that has been an enforceable standard. So that's a key component to this. If we move down into Chapter 1 and take a look at how this document applies, a key component is listed here in 1.3.1 that says this standard applies to maintenance for electrical, electronic, and communication systems and equipment and is not intended to duplicate or supersede instructions provided by manufacturers. So this is a key point because although NFPA 70B does provide electrical equipment maintenance requirements, those manufacturer instruction requirements are still necessary to follow. And if they tell you to do something different than what NFPA 70B does, you need to follow those manufacturer instructions. So in NFPA 70B, there's a specific chapter regarding electric vehicle power transfer equipment, and that is Chapter 33. And when you hear the term electric vehicle power transfer systems, that's a fairly new term because everybody always uses the term electric vehicle charger. And you may be right in saying that an electrical vehicle charger is the electric vehicle power transfer system, but the transfer system piece is because now a lot of these chargers have the capability to not only charge the vehicle itself, transferring power from the premises wiring system in the building to the vehicle, but also from the vehicle back to the building. So because there's that two-way transfer capability of power, this isn't just about charging anymore. Now it's about transferring power in whatever direction they may go. So that's a key component here. So this section is dealing with maintenance around what may be called by some as electric vehicle chargers. Now, within this, there's several requirements that go through here. The scope of the chapter itself identifies the electric maintenance requirements for electric vehicle power transfer systems and associated equipment. Now, the frequency of maintenance is, of course, a big piece, and we'll get to that a little bit lower down here on what needs to happen. Documentation is key as we work through this. Now, here's the periodic maintenance. So visual inspections, there's a table here that if we expand it, you can see that it covers different tasks. And then different types of testing that is done. And those types are down here in the asterisk. So a type 1 is an online standard test. Type 1A is online enhanced test. Type 2 is offline standard test. And type 2A is offline enhanced test. So with these tests, so for example, if we wanted to inspect the cable, that's something that gets worn quite often with electric vehicle transfer equipment. Those cables need to be looked at, and you need to verify if there's damage, deterioration, supports, bending radius, excessive tension, things of that nature are all listed here. So that's what needs to be looked at. So this gives you the actual tests of this electrical vehicle power transfer equipment, what specific tests need to be done. The frequency of when those tests happen are back in Chapter 9, and we'll get to that in a minute. I'll go there. But I want to get through the rest of Chapter 33. It's a fairly short chapter, but there's some detailed information in here. There are some specific tests that need to be done annually. So the cord and cord connector need to be inspected to verify the strain relief is intact, stress is not placed on the cord and terminations, the pins are not damaged. The equipment mounting, so how it's mounted itself, needs to be inspected. It's not uncommon to see some of this equipment start to become loose, even if it's anchored to concrete, just because of the typical wear and tear. Sometimes they're in a position where they're not protected well. They may get ran into by a vehicle, so it's good to verify that. And then physical protection for the equipment shall be inspected to ensure its integrity. So that you got to make sure that physical protection is there if it isn't already in place. And these have to be done annually. Some of them, it may make sense to do more than annually just because of the necessity to make sure, it's being done properly. And then there's some placeholders here. So we can see as NFPA 70B expands, there's some additional areas around cleaning, mechanical servicing, and electrical testing that we have spots reserved for where that information could be added in the future. So now to the frequency. So if we go back up here, we can see that the frequency of maintenance talks about section 33.4, which we just went through with the table, but then chapter 9 is what applies for how often that needs to happen. So if we go back to chapter 9, we see that's titled maintenance intervals, and there's a section that's titled frequency of maintenance. So if we go down to section 9.2.2 and open the table here and scroll down just a little bit, we can see there are electric vehicle power transfer systems. And then it gives the 3 different types of scope of works that are being done: visual inspection, mechanical inspection, and electrical testing. And then there are different allotted time frames based on the condition 1, 2, or 3. So we can see condition 1, maintenance should happen every 60 months or 5 years. Condition 2, maintenance should happen every 36 months or 3 years. And condition 3 is annually. So what are these conditions? If we slide down in chapter 9 just a little bit below this, we see section 9.3 covers those specific conditions. So equipment with physical condition 1 is where the following criteria applies. The equipment appears in like new condition. The enclosure is clean, free from moisture intrusion, and tight. No unaddressed notification from the continuous monitoring system has occurred. There are no active recommendations from predictive techniques, and previous maintenance has been performed in accordance with the EMP, which stands for Electrical Maintenance Plan. Condition 2 is where maintenance results deviate from past results or have indicated more frequent maintenance in accordance with the manufacturer's published data. The previous maintenance cycle has revealed issues requiring the repair or replacement of major equipment components. There have been notifications from the continuous monitoring system since the prior assessment, and there are active recommendations from predictive techniques. So we can see that as we move from condition 1, which allotted the most time in between intervals, now we move to a condition which seems not quite as good as condition 1. And then as we move on to condition 3, it gets just a step worse. So, in this case, this is the one where it required maintenance to happen every 12 months or annually. So in this case, for condition 3, the equipment has missed the last 2 successive maintenance cycles in accordance with the EMP. The previous 2 maintenance cycles have revealed issues requiring the repair or replacement of major equipment components. So that equipment is starting to not operate as it should pretty commonly. There's an active or unaddressed notification from the continuous monitoring system, and there are urgent actions identified from predictive techniques. So we can see how the Chapter 33 different tests and techniques and inspections apply as far as intervals that they need to take place that go back into this Chapter 9 information that's there. And with the public exposure and the high use rate of these devices, it's critical for facility managers and owners to develop a plan to inspect and maintain this equipment regularly. So NFPA 70B at its root has, in the Chapter 4 general requirements, has an electrical maintenance program plan that's in here, what should be included in that. So that's something that facility managers and building owners may want to look at and take into account to get these electrical maintenance plans in place for this electrical power transfer equipment or other equipment that's necessary on their property, just as a way of managing the risk involved. As we all know, for facility managers and owners, managing risk is an ongoing battle, and ensuring that this equipment stays safe, functional, and reliable is a great way to help alleviate some of the hazards. So we hope that provided some insights into electrical vehicle power transfer equipment maintenance using the 2023 edition of NFPA 70B. For more info about how NFPA LiNK gives you the knowledge you need to get the job done right, please visit www.nfpa.org/link.